If you followed along on my journey to find the perfect Wi-Fi security camera, you know that when I do these reviews and I get to the cons section of my review, there's a certain sticking point that I keep talking about over and over again, a request that I have. And I sound like a broken record talking about that request. But I'm here to tell you today how refreshing it is when one of the most popular brands out there must be listening and they bring back that feature, something a lot of us have wanted them to bring back. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, plus a bunch of cool other features in a brand new Wi-Fi security camera with a built-in solar panel from one of the most popular brands out there. Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? George Langevere here. Today, we're talking about a new Wi-Fi security camera from Eufy. We're talking about the EufyCam S3 Pro. It's a follow-up to the EufyCam S3. Both those cameras have built-in solar panels, which is very cool. Eufy's done that better than anybody else, but this one is new and improved. I want to thank Eufy for sending me this camera and sponsoring today's video, but I'm going to talk all about it. I'm going to unbox it. I'm going to talk about setup and installation. I'm going to talk price and specs, and my full review, pros and cons, and sponsored or not, you know I'm going to tell you like it is. So let's get started with the unboxing. All right, now that we've unboxed, let's talk setup and installation. Both are very simple. For setup, this camera is meant to be used with the S380 home base from Eufy, so you're going to add that to the app first. Then you're going to add your camera. You're going to go to add a device. You're going to look for the S3 Pro in the list of devices to add, and the app is going to walk you through it. Step by step, you can have this done in a couple minutes. Installation is just as easy. Because of that built-in solar panel, you can pretty much put this camera anywhere. You're just going to attach the little mount with a couple screws, then attach the camera to the mount, and you're done. Just keep in mind, this does have to communicate with the home base, so don't go too crazy with the installation as far as how far out you put it. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to price and specs, since this camera is a brand new release, check in the description of this video for the current price. You'll also find all the affiliate links that you'll need for purchase. So again, check out the description. Moving on to specs, we've got 4K resolution, and we've got Eufy's MaxColor vision technology. Now this gives you color night vision in pitch black situations with no spotlight. And if that's not enough for you, you also have a motion triggered spotlight on this camera. All right, before we move on, I want to cover the night vision options of this camera because it's very important, because we've got some awesome night vision here. Now, if we go into the app and go to the night vision settings, I'm going to cover the Eufy app here in a moment, but I just want to go through the night vision real quick. So you can see here we've got 4 different options. We've got infrared, which is black and white. You can see that it shows the exposure and action clarity here. So that's kind of cool. So you can add that as a default, or you can go up a notch to spotlights and you can use that adaptive spotlight. And that's motion triggered and can automatically adjust lighting for optimal footage quality and energy efficiency. Tap a specific area in the frame to focus and keep details clear without overexposure. So the spotlight on this camera is very advanced, but you can see the exposure number there and the action clarity. All right, then the feature that I like is the daylight, which is pretty much like daylight in pitch black situations. Now I've got some city lights around here. It's very hard for me to make it pitch black here, but I did turn off my accent lights and tried to make it as dark as possible. And you can see what it looks like here in the daylight setting. You got an exposure of 4.5 and action clarity of 4. Gives you enhanced brightness, color and dynamic range, reduced dark corners, suitable for monitoring low light areas. That's the daylight setting. Then you've got standard, which has an exposure of 4 and an action clarity of 4.5. The default setting for night surveillance. The image quality is balanced and true to life, suitable for monitoring high traffic, well illuminated areas with ambient light. So it's very cool that you've got 4 options here, and that adaptive spotlight is pretty sweet. This camera has what Eufy calls Pro Power. That includes their Solar Plus 2.0 technology. This solar panel is 50% larger and only needs 1 hour of sunlight for a full charge. The circuitry design ensures that partial shade will not hinder the charging. The camera has a 13,000 milliampere rechargeable battery, and Eufy says that that battery can give you up to 365 days of battery life. And this is kind of cool. For flexibility of mounting, they even include an external solar panel in the box, just in case you need to get more creative. Then we've got what Eufy calls Pro Detection. This camera has a dual motion detection system, which combines radar and PIR to accurately detect humans and reduce false alarms up to 99%. And that gives you precise human detection up to 39 feet with a 120-degree field of view. You can set up detection zones to even fine-tune that detection even more. This camera also has what's called 24/7 Smart Snapshot. It'll take periodic snapshots throughout the day without significant battery drain, and it just means you're going to miss less events because it's always monitoring throughout the day. This camera is also compatible with Eufy's S380 home base, like I said, and that gives you up to 16 terabytes of expandable storage. That home base also gives you Bionic Mind AI, which is advanced analytics. This camera also has cross-camera tracking, which allows you to review events from multiple angles, and it's pretty sweet. We've got a dual mic array, and we've got advanced AI noise canceling technology. We've got full duplex 2-way audio. Take a listen.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing 1 2 3. How is the clarity? How is the clarity? Testing. Testing. Testing.
And we've got a high quality 100 decibel siren. Also, take a listen. When it comes to these specs, last but not least, and are you sitting down for this one? This goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. This camera is compatible with Apple Home and Apple HomeKit Secure Video. Eufy, thank you for listening to us. This is so wonderful. Now, if you go to the Eufy S380 home base, there is a section under the general settings for Apple HomeKit and the HomeKit portal, just like their first home base, and that applies to this camera. So speaking of that, let's talk about using this with the Eufy app and, in my case, the Apple Home app. Yay! Okay, starting with the Eufy app, you can see I got my cameras there, my home base. I'm going to play my camera. I'm going to mute the sound. All right, got your image. You can turn it to go full screen. Down below, you can hit a record to record a clip. You got your call button if you want to talk through the camera. You can turn on your spotlight. You've got playback. You've got your night vision toggle. Got a screenshot. You can go to your events. I didn't have any events this day. Top right, you can sound your siren. You also have your settings wheel. Settings wheel, you have to forgive me. This is a pre-production model. That's why the camera's kind of faint there. But you can see your battery percentage, your Wi-Fi signal. You can turn the camera on and off. Got your motion detection. You can toggle between human recognition, human detection, vehicle detection, pet detection, all other motions. Got your sensitivity that you can select. Power manager gives you some information about your solar energy. Spotlight settings. You got your brightness. Anti-theft detection, you can get an alarm if somebody tampers with your camera. This is the snapshot I was talking about. You can enable that. Capture images at regular intervals to monitor what happens between events, providing greater peace of mind, convenience, and safety. You can do your snapshot frequency, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 60 minutes. It's a really cool feature. Video settings, you can do the streaming quality, you can turn off the watermark. Right now I'm in full HD, 1080p because I'm in Apple Home. The night vision, here we go. This is where you can select your night vision options. So you have different levels up there, but I like the daylight option. It tells you your exposure, action clarity, enhanced brightness, color, and dynamic range, reduced dark corners, suitable for monitoring low light areas. It's just really cool how many options they give you here, and just how awesome it is, making it look like it's daylight at night. You can do privacy zones, audio settings for your microphone and audio recording, your notifications. Got a couple different options there, typical with Eufy. Your general settings, which is the name of the camera, status LED, your storage option, the mounting guide, and some general information on about device. All right, that's it for the Eufy app. Let's go to Apple Home. There you see, there's my two cameras. Click on one. All right, I currently have this camera in Apple's HomeKit Secure Video. So there we go, there's the image. I could turn my phone to get the full image. I've got my scrub down below of events, just as we're used to. Again, this is just such a wonderful thing to have this option. Thank you, Eufy. I've got my calendar up there. Again, exactly like any other camera in HomeKit Secure Video. Go to your settings, got your name, got your battery level, whether it's charging, your room, how many accessories are with the camera, add to your home view, your status and notifications, your recording options. It's painful to have a 4K camera in 1080p, but again, Apple's fault, not Eufy's fault, but just awesome to have this option. All right, let's get to my review. Pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. If you're using this camera with the Eufy app, you got 4K resolution. Can't ask for any more than that. That MaxColor vision, as far as that color night vision, is amazing. Got those cool little selections you can do in the app to determine how bright you want it, but man, it truly looks like daylight and it's pretty cool. Now, I'm not normally a fan of bullet cameras, but this is the one camera that I've always liked. The first S3 and now the S3 Pro, I love that built-in solar panel. One of my biggest problems with solar panels is having to have that external solar panel look like such an eyesore. This camera solves that problem beautifully. Speaking of that solar panel, it kept my battery 90% or above, whether it was gloomy or whatever, and that's awesome. That pro detection, as far as the analytics, was very accurate for me, so that's a pro. All right, let's talk about two-way audio for a second. And right now I'm talking about the microphone, hearing through the camera, the surroundings all around the camera. That sounded crisp and clear, and that was definitely a pro. I like that siren if you want to scare away an intruder. And oh my goodness, if it's not the biggest pro of all pros, Apple Home. Just the fact that Eufy was listening, you know, they were great about it for so long, and then it just vanished from Eufy's vocabulary. I don't know what happened, but it's back, and that's all that matters. So all is forgiven, Eufy. Now, with that being said, I'm going to move on to my cons, and this con is not Eufy's fault. It is 100% wonderful that they are back in the Apple Home game, but now it's on Apple to take it up a notch. So this isn't a knock on Eufy, this is a knock on Apple. It's ridiculous in 2024 that Apple HomeKit Secure Video and Apple Home Video, you've got to knock it down to 1080p resolution. So here we've got this beautiful 4K camera, which Eufy has all these beautiful intentions to put in Apple Home. But when we do that, we have to downgrade it to 1080p, and that sucks. And that is an Apple problem. We have got to kick that up. I mean, there shouldn't be any cameras out there at 1080p at this point. We should be at 2K or 4K because 8K is coming. So Apple, we've got to increase that resolution. I mean, otherwise, as beautiful as it is that I can get this camera in Apple Home, why do I need to look at it in 1080p resolution? All right, let's go back to two-way audio. If you follow the channel, you know I have a problem with a lot of speakers on cameras. That's talking through the cameras to scare away an intruder. Unfortunately, that was the case with this camera. I was very quiet talking through it. I was a little jarbled, had a little trouble understanding me through the camera. And also when I went to hit the call button to scare away an intruder, to talk to the camera, it was very delayed. And that's a problem if you're trying to get to that intruder. So unfortunately, that is a con. Now, I did have a pre-production model of this camera, and sometimes you just have quirks like that. We had some other quirks, and Eufy and I worked together and got through them. This was the last remaining quirk, so I don't know. But I gotta say, again, the speaker part was a con. All right, that's it. That's my review of the EufyCam S3 Pro. What do you think? Again, this is the new improved model of the EufyCam S3, and it truly is new and improved. That color night vision, man, come on. It's next level. It's really cool stuff. And I just love this particular model and that built-in solar panel. This model does that better than any other camera out there. You've always got that little solar panel on top or the solar panel next to it, and they're always an eyesore. Not with this camera, and that's a beautiful thing. And come on, Apple Home, whether I've got problems with how Apple is handling HomeKit Secure Video, that's not Eufy's fault. So my hat is off with them bringing that back to this new base station and this camera. They truly were listening to us, and that's really all that matters. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments. All right, until the next video, peace and love, my friends.